Meow. Hoople's cat. 5 reasons preppers are as dumb as bricks. Actually dumber than bricks. Of course not all preppers are, but clickbait. So the prepper known as the FaceHole is back, and he only has 10 subs. So I would encourage you to get over there and sub him, because he always has a different take on views, and I miss him fighting with me online. So I'm his #1 sub, so get over there and support him.
Hey, what's up YouTube, FaceHole? And I guess you want to be big sexy tonight? Joe Primal said he misses big sex. Oh.
Big sexy.
Anyway, rickshaw ladies at it again.
Oh,
triggers the shit out of me, right? But you know what the funny part is? I left a couple comments. I don't think they were bad comments. And I'm not banned. I can only see my own comments. And how I figured this out was, is it working?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought for sure I'd have like 20 responses. I didn't get any, right? So I went on my other name, and sure enough, I'm the only one who can see my own responses.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's clever.
So I'm like, what would it be called? I'm a gagged face hole.
There.
On her.
We like that
so
even better.
we're gonna talk about this farcical and fraudulent review she has of the Echo Zoom.
Anyhow, we did a video where he basically tore into a famous female prepper for selling overpriced junk to her subs, and how ridiculous her subs were in not seeing through how overpriced and junky the item was. Anyway, you can check out his video and see what you think. But there is a large number of preppers who are dumber than bricks. They follow idiots online, people who can't spell, people who are obviously got low IQs, people who have obviously got addiction problems. I can name the channels, I'm not going to, but there's a lot of big preppers out there, big channels, who've got obvious serious problems, and yet the vast majority of preppers online are actually following them, follow them aggressively. If you criticize or put forward a opposing viewpoint to what offered in the video, you get viciously attacked. There's a whole bunch of these folks out there, and I don't sub them. Their loss, not mine. Because intelligent discourse, especially criticism, is absolutely essential to any prepper. You need to have somebody look at your plans, look at your ideas, and tear them to shreds. Better that than finding out when the bomb's dropped. But of course it gets much worse. These preppers are saying the same stuff over and over and over. FEMA, brown invasion from the south, economic collapse. What else they ran on about over and over and over? Yeah, civil war. Liberals like me are going to come and take all of your guns. Absolute garbage. Anybody with an IQ bigger than a mollusk would understand that. And yet these videos get massive views. All you have to do is go online, look like you're right wing, wave a gun around and start screaming about the liberal menace, and you get 10,000 subs. Good for them, you say. I say it's a sad reflection on how intelligent people are.
Oh, no, big sexy. Yesterday I was front hole.
Yeah, front hole. Okay, we're going to do a quick video about misinformation by big channels, which then creates, we're going to call them stupid super subs.
Of course, the classic is the prepper who has the $200, $250, $300 bug out bag, but actually has no bug out location to go to, and has very inadequate supplies in their home to bug in. This is a common one. If you put up any video with bug out bag in the title, you get hordes and hordes and hordes of views. Are people really at this point in 2019 still needing to learn what to put in a bug out bag? Get your bag, however much it costs, put some stuff in it, go for a walk, see how it feels. It's pretty simple. But of course it's even worse, isn't it? Most of them are bugging out by car. I'm not going to get into why bugging out in a major SHTF by car is probably an idiocracy. It is. But it gets worse. A lot of these people haven't got the ability to use a map and a compass. They've never have. They don't know what they're doing with them. And they'll use GPS. And you can see this over and over. People have bug out bags with solar panels in to recharge their cell phones. They're that addicted to cell phone technology. I would argue that in a major SHTF, cell phone technology is useful on a localized scale, but to actually carry the weight, to bug out from your home because your home is now unsafe and you have to get out of the home really quickly. It's not a planned evacuation, this is a bug out. Are you carrying a solar panel so you can keep your cell phone charged? What for? Oh yeah, it's a light, it's an alarm, it has nice apps on it. Dudes and dudesses, think about it. Till the 1990s, there were no such things as cell phones, and we all did phenomenally well in emergencies. You guys are going to be literally walking around like this. Of course, I haven't got a cell phone on me because I have no data plan, because it makes you think. It makes you really, really think. Having a cell phone in your pocket turned off drops your IQ by 10 points. So actually carry one in a stress situation, in a major SHTF, I'm not talking about a localized event, it's done. And yet, it's promoted. Food for me is number one prep. It depends where you live. It could be water. If you live in a high crime area, it's probably security, but I would argue if you're a prepper, you probably need to move. Anyway, a lot of people show they're dumber than bricks by food. They have endless prepping at the dollar store videos, totally unaware of the fact that a lot of the food that looks normal food in the dollar store is for some reason discounted and not being sold, and has ended up in the dollar stores and those types of stores because it's not fit for human consumption in a normal grocery store, and in a lot of the cases it's actually faked food coming out of Asia, and yet that's where you're buying all your food from for long-term use. Again, it's actually fairly expensive to buy nothing but tinned meat and soups from the dollar store because it's not a really healthy food. They will buy food and they will claim they're a prepper and they will claim the dollar store is good, but they can't actually read food labels and they have no basic comprehension of nutrition science. I would argue again, when calories are life or death, what you need to do is have enough nutrition science to actually be able to look at a can, look at a packaging, know what the nutrition is, know what the negatives of some of the products contained inside the product food you're eating is, and be able to deal with it. And of course it gets worse, doesn't it? They don't garden, ever. They don't even have pot plants. I mean, plants in pots, but you know what I mean. They can't seed save. They can't regenerate food from their gardens to keep them going, and it's really sad. You know, sure, they have 3 months a year supply of legacy, but they have no plan. What are they going to do for each of their adults to give them 2,500 to 3,000 calories a day for every day, 365 days a year, in year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of prepping? Of course, if you're just prepping for a localized calamity, a localized event, 3 months is fine. But a lot of these people out there online are putting out videos claiming that they're building bug out locations for a terminal long-term fall of society. And I'm thinking of one in Rochester who's actually living in wooden huts with very thin walls, preparing an armoured type response to fall of society. His garden's about the size of a car. He has no skills whatsoever. He uses technological inputs into the garden, and he has a lot of stored food, but it's stored behind very thin wood, and he has a ton of neighbours, and yet people think he's an expert. People think he's got it solved. He hasn't. He's living on a cheap piece of land in a wooden hut and preparing for armed resistance to an SHTF that'll leave him dead, leave his family dead very quickly. It's kind of weird that people actually don't see through this sort of thing. Cognitive dissonance is very real. One of the good things online I haven't really got into is the Cast Iron Wednesdays. Mr. Shovelhead and a few other people do that a lot, and they're really great videos. The reason they're great videos is because they're actually cooking food and eating it based upon lack of electricity and natural gas. Not always natural gas, but they're actually using cooking skills. So a lot of these preppers out there who aren't cooking, have never really cooked except to make maybe toast and a sandwich. They're in a major disadvantage in SHTF, and yet they don't think they are. They think because they have 3 or 4 rifles and 20,000 rounds of ammunition, they will be just fine. Not realizing that a lot of other people have ammunition, a lot of people have guns, and they'll be well fed and with nutritious food. And probably you're in a very major disadvantage in SHTF that's a long-term one if you can't actually feed yourself. So you need to have your cooking part solved. As the FaceHole says, you can't just rely on having buckets of white rice and figuring out in SHTF you can cook that white rice easily or clean up from it easily. You can't. Now, fair cop, I have a lot of white rice, but what he says in the video that I'm also going to link, and I'll link it in now.
If you watch all these videos, everyone always says, you know, get white rice. That is fucking horrific, horrific advice. And again, you be the judge. Now I'm going to show you the differences. Here's parboiled rice. Here's white rice. The cost is probably exactly the same. In fact, this is a 2-pound bag was only $1 more than the 1-pound bag of white rice from Walmart. Okay, so of course you're going to say cost savings and blah 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 blah. Here's the differences. Number one, when they make this parboiled and they do what they need to do, it takes all the nutrients and shoves them into the endosperm. Now, we're not fucking playing Jeopardy here, so who cares? The point of the matter is this. Parboiled rice will have way more nutrients than white rice, just simply because of that. Okay, so this is superior to white rice from that standpoint. And it's a small point, but we'll elaborate further on that.
All that stuff's very true. There are many, many different types of rice. There are many, many different types of beans. There's many, many different types of pulses. And limiting yourself to 1 or 2 varieties of whatever, you're setting yourself up for failure. As a nutritionist, you need to be a prepper. You can't be a prepper who thinks about nutrition. Food will kill you in SHTF. Not the liberal invasion, not NASA, not anything else. What will kill you is lack of good quality food. The second thing, of course, that will kill you is lack of good quality water. And a lot of people, a disarmingly large number of people, are relying on tiny little water filters to suck water out of the ground. You need to have a gravity-fed system. I don't care if it's the Life Straw, I don't care if it's a Berkey, I don't care what it is. It has to be gravity-fed, and it has to be able to produce large volumes of water easily. Preferably without you standing there staring at it for an hour. Time's going to be very valuable. You have to get a lot of supplies in SHTF. Okay, so the last one. I've done this before, I'll do it again, it won't stop people. I actually do support a few people on Patreon, I actually have sent money to people, but you know what? I'm getting convinced that it's a scam. And I'm convinced that prepping on YouTube is a hobby. If you have 10,000 or more subs and you've monetized, which pretty much all of them are, that's adequate. That's adequate. How much money do you want? And yet a lot of them are begging, direct begging, or they are now going to sell stuff which is overpriced. You just Google it and find it. You'll find the same products in their stores, cheaper. So they're make a profit on you. Or they're actually asking you to Patreonize them, and they're asking for Patreon to improve the quality of their quality videos. Most of their videos are plagiarized. Most of them are not unique at all. And that's true of anything. And yet people with low incomes are actually sending these people money. And I'm kind of wondering why. Like I said, I will continue to Patreon the Patreon people I patronize, and I'll continue to send money as and when I feel like it. But there is an aspect of prepping out there that people think they're entitled to money from other people just because they're able to sit in front of a camera and rant on about liberals and gun control. I don't think so. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed that. I did. There is, of course, a bonus 6th reason why preppers are dumber than bricks, and this does largely apply to me. I can walk a mile, I can walk 10 miles right now. I need to be able to walk 25 to 30 miles a day in, day out, without getting really messed up. Got a lot of excuses why I can't anymore. I used to be able to run that without any problem. And I'm going to focus on that during this summer because I'm working a lot. I'm doing 2 full-time jobs. I'm also doing a lot of videoing. I'm doing a lot of other stuff. My life's busy, as is all of our lives. And if you could go to my Patreon page and sub me for $1, it will make my haircuts much better. Remember, SHTF, tomorrow is always worse than today. So don't stop thinking critically. Doodles.